That was not a top 50 verse.
Like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great
about it? It's so good.
Jim Jones really woke up and chose chaos, going after not one, not two, but 3 hip-hop legends in one swing. Nas, Pusha T, and no Malice. Like, who does that? And now he's finding out the hard way that you don't just throw shots at rap royalty and expect to walk away clean. The whole industry is watching this train wreck in slow motion. And let's be real, it's ugly.
Pusha T or Malice?
To keep it a buck, I'm gonna go with Pusha T, so we're not gonna drink to them.
What Jim thought was just him speaking his mind turned into one of the coldest comeback setups we've seen in years. That little jab, that slick comment about Nas not being relevant, yeah, that might have just sparked the resurrection of Clipse, and not in a subtle way either. We're talking full-blown lyrical warfare, and Jim accidentally made himself the centerpiece. People started connecting the dots when that shade spiraled into something way bigger. The man who once dismissed Pusha T's music like it was background noise, he's now being used as the promo material for Clipse's big return. You can't make this stuff up, and the timing? Icy cold, because all this drama popped off right when Paris Fashion Week was in full swing. And guess who was in the front row watching it all unfold? Pharrell, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. All eyes were locked in while Jim Jones stood center stage in a scandal he created with his own mouth. The second he said,
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep.
Jim didn't just throw shade, he straight up violated. He dragged Nas's whole legacy into the convo uninvited and basically said it wasn't even memorable enough for the next generation to care about. Like, whoa, what? But the craziest part, that wasn't even the wildest thing he said that week. Jim wasn't just trolling once and moving on. Nah, he made a whole tour out of disrespect. He laughed about it, then went on The Breakfast Club, Bag Fuel, Nightcap with Shannon Sharp, and even random IG lives and sidewalk interviews to keep pushing the same disrespect like he wanted smoke. And then it got even more out of pocket. On Bag Fuel, Jim said he wasn't really dissing Nas, he was just speaking his truth as a fan. But then, with a straight face, he claimed he was the reason. According to Jim, nobody had been talking about Nas like this in years. Not since Ether. He really said, "I'm the reason Nas is going viral again." On camera, loud and proud. But here's the kicker. Jim didn't even realize who he was playing with. Nas ain't the type to argue online or fire back with messy drama. He's the type to move in silence, sit down with billionaires, ink power deals with tech giants and developers, and let his moves speak louder than words. While Jim was busy setting imaginary fires, Nas was out here laying the foundation for what might be the biggest cultural power move Queens has ever seen. And instead of clapping back with bars, Nas pulled the smoothest flex in the game. He hit Instagram with a quiet bombshell, a promo post for a $5 billion Queens casino investment.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us.
Like, who needs to argue when you can just casually drop a multi-billion-dollar deal? That post wasn't just business, it was Nas saying loud and clear, "I'm too rich for this nonsense." And if Jim had stopped there, maybe, just maybe, he could have walked away. But no, he doubled down again and set his sights on Pusha T next. He said with his whole chest that Pusha ain't even top 50. Wild.
Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan.
If you
like,
know, you know.
I didn't know he had fans like that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No, his records. Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that. But you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought, like you did, like, where I'm from, just want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things like that.
Wayne wanted to be like Pusha?
Yeah.
He was influenced by Pusha?
Yeah? Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. You heard? But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? There'll be the girls, all the girls wanted to do him. Like, what is you did?
But here's what Jim missed. This time, it wasn't just Pusha who heard that shot. No Malice was listening too. And now fans are wondering, did Jim Jones accidentally reunite Clipse with one trash take? Because Clipse didn't just randomly pop up. They'd been on a silent grind under the radar for over 15 years. But real ones know, months before Jim started talking, Pusha had already dropped a quiet clue in Rolling Stone. He said he was trying to pull No Malice back in. In his words, I'm like, yo, listen to what I just made. We can really do this. And Malice? He just brushed it off at the time. If I had it my way, it would be the Clipse. That's what Pusha T said, but the real decision, that was always in No Malice's hands. And thanks to Jim Jones running his mouth, he might have just handed Malice the perfect reason to step back into the spotlight.
Make some noise for the Clipse. Mr. Genesis. Now hold on. DC. Make some noise for the Clipse, y'all. It's all right.
The reunion whispers had already started buzzing back in 2022 when Clipse popped out at Pharrell's Something in the Water Festival in Virginia Beach. The crowd lost it, but that was just the warm-up. A few months later, they showed up again at Complex Con and then again at Chicago's Hyde Park Summerfest. The brothers were locked in, tearing through bangers like Lord Willin' and Hell Hath No Fury like they never left. And No Malice? He didn't look hesitant. He looked hungry. But what came next? Oh, it was different.
You think it'd be valor amongst veterans? I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We all in a room, but here's the elephant. You chasing a feature out of your element. And those lap diamonds under inspection. The question marks block you.
The Clipse were spotted in Paris, not just performing, but walking the Louis Vuitton runway hand in hand with Pharrell. Fresh off his new role as Louis Vuitton's men's creative director, Pharrell didn't just bring the fashion, he brought the culture. And right there, with Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting front row, a brand new Clipse track blasted through the speakers mid-show. And y'all, it wasn't subtle, it was cold, raw, calculated, and aimed directly at Jim Jones.
I would say he's the greatest of all times. The relevancy that he keeps showing year after year, hit after hit, record after record. Any record that he has put out has seemed to go multiple platinum. Like, that's never has happened before in this history. I mean, there's a few other people that do astronomical numbers like that, but he really in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Pusha didn't leave room for doubt. He looked straight at the camera and straight at Jim, like, this is your doing. But this wasn't just a diss track. It was art. Premiered at Paris Fashion Week in front of the culture's elite and orchestrated by Pharrell himself. It didn't take long before fans started piecing it all together and realizing just how deep this clapback really went.
When I was coming home one day and talking with myself, I said, I'm just gonna live. Forget this guilty, feeling. Forget all this regret. Do what you wanna do. Ain't nobody else tripping like you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and party and do it up. And I literally tried to sear my conscience. Like, forget it. So when people say you found God, I did not find God. I was trying to party with the devil. Trust me, I was trying to go hard. God himself said, no, not you. He did not allow me to do it. And that's what I seen with my own eyes, whether anyone believes it or not.
Was this Pharrell's silent revenge? A master-level chess move played from the top floor of LV's headquarters to clap back at Jim for all those slick side eyes and shady comments over the years? It's looking real possible, especially when you remember that Jim's been publicly hyping up Drake as the greatest of all time. And Drake, that's Pusha T's biggest rival. Jim made his loyalties very clear in that Complex interview. No confusion there.
They ain't getting money like me. They ain't spitting in that poop like me.
And just like that, Clipse returned. No press tour, no teaser single, just a surgical strike in the form of a revenge track premiered on one of the most high-powered runways in the world.
They say, Jim, I wasn't talking about you.
I mean, and I would be hurt. I would be heartbroken. I would be so upset. You heard?
You was talking about me.
Jim thought he was just talking slick, but Pusha and No Malice, they were quietly plotting a legendary comeback and using Jim to do it. Now fans are asking, did Jim just hand No Malice the coldest comeback moment in rap history? Or did he accidentally write his own rap eulogy without even realizing it? Because Clipse hasn't even dropped an album yet, and the damage is already being done.
If you know, it's always on the Big Mac. You'll drop when we drive by in the car with a Big Mac. The last year you dropped, that shit was garbage, take that shit back. Once you got your brother around, try to bring the Clipse right. Talking about your brother, what happened to that boy? Looking like it, they selling tracks to that boy. Really though, enough of the jokes, how niggas get embarrassed. I really got some money, I catch you niggas out of Paris.
And let's not forget Pharrell, the mastermind behind it all. He's not just a producer, he's family. The one who gave Clipse their sound, their edge, their identity. So when Jim went on interviews mocking the Clipse legacy, calling them irrelevant and clowning their catalog, he wasn't just dissing Pusha, he disrespected the entire Clipse movement. And what nobody saw coming was No Malice stepping back into the booth like this.
We went viral on the Spotify Rap Caviar podcast.
Yes.
About
Man,
Pusha T.
People don't like people, yeah, see? There we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the Clipse. I mean, congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but
you don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good.
It's so
It's good.
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't tell us about, bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay anybody's craft and their music. I want to uplift everybody and things like that. But I don't listen to their music. I never have. I can't recall too many records that I can remember.
Let's keep it real. For over a decade, No Malice was the silent one. The older brother who stepped away from the game, gave his life to faith, and chose a path of peace while Pusha T kept swinging in the trenches. No Malice had made it crystal clear time and time again, he had no plans to ever rap again. So when his voice echoed through the speakers at the Louis Vuitton show in Paris, that wasn't just a surprise, that was chilling. Like goosebumps kind of energy. Now let's break it down because No Malice wasn't just throwing random rhymes for the hype. His bars were calculated, layered, laced with meaning. When he said, "Bird talk, we all parrots," that wasn't just a clever line. It was a direct hit at Bird Gang, Jim's crew, his whole brand, his identity. And the city's No Malice name? Paris, Dallas. Coincidence? Not even close. Those were the exact same cities Jim shouted out in his freestyle over Chains and Whips just days before. No Malice ain't just responding, he's watching, he's listening, and he's striking back with precision. But here's what really got the fans buzzing. No Malice didn't just return, he returned with purpose. He was rapping like he'd been waiting on this very moment. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a checkmate, a warning shot aimed at every inflated ego in the room. And the wildest part? Jim gave him the perfect excuse to do it. Jim kicked off his so-called response tour by doing what he thought would keep him looking cool, laughing at Pusha T's Paris verse on Instagram. He tried to brush it off like it was nothing, like he wasn't fazed. But then came his appearance on Drink Champ, and that's where the crack started to show. When Nor brought up the Clipse diss, Jim slipped bad. He dropped the cool guy act for just a second, and in that moment, you could see it. He felt it. The confidence cracked, even if just a little. But instead of falling back, Jim jumped straight into the booth and dropped his Chains and Whips freestyle, a response over the exact same beat Clipse had just used to cook him. Then came the BET Awards. Bootleg Kev pulled Jim aside for a quick interview, and Jim did what he always does, tried to act like nothing was bothering him. But when asked about Clipse's new single, Chains and Trumpets, Jim didn't hold back. He said the bars were mid, claimed Clipse was just riding a nostalgia wave. But let's be real, he wasn't looking like a confident veteran. He looked like a rapper trying way too hard not to fold under pressure, and it was showing. Because what do you do when the same legends you disrespected start rising again, louder and stronger than ever? You either humble up or you spiral. And just when folks thought he might chill, he grabbed another shovel. Back on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp, Jim went off again, launching yet another wild rant.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run.
Back on his favorite target like he learned nothing, Jim really went on record claiming Nas was never that influential. Said Nas always played second fiddle to Jay-Z and DMX, and then
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There a lot of them both came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album.
With a straight face, he hit us with this wild comparison. That's like saying Jordan fell off after Space Jam. Like, what?
Barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that.
That ain't just reaching. That's full-blown delusion. But while Jim was out here chasing clout and spitting hot air, Clipse was quietly executing a master-level comeback plan. Out of nowhere, they dropped the full rollout for their long-awaited reunion album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. And if folks thought Chains and Whips was the big moment, that was just the warning shot. This album wasn't just a return, it was a statement. The features? Absolutely stacked. We're talking Nas, yes, the same man Jim said was not influential. Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, the Creator, The Dream, and John Legend, and of course, an executive produced by Pharrell himself. But here's where things got even messier. The album was originally supposed to drop under Def Jam, until rumors hit the streets that Def Jam tried to censor Kendrick's verse. Yeah, that verse. Word is Kendrick came in swinging, dropping indirect heat aimed at Drake, Travis Scott, and the entire fake machine behind the industry politics. Clipse didn't flinch, not for a second. As soon as Def Jam tried to play gatekeeper and censor Kendrick's verse, they pulled the plug and took the whole album straight to Rock Nation. That move alone spoke volumes. Clipse wasn't coming back as some washed-up nostalgia act. They were moving like power players, and when Jim dared to ask, who even rides for Pusha, they answered that question loud and clear. This wasn't overnight, but the shift, it was real. Jim wasn't just catching strays, he was being quietly pushed out the picture. Not blackballed, but benched. In silence, and for a guy who's built his whole career on being loud, in your face, and loyalty-driven, that quiet exile hit harder than any bar Pusha could ever write. Now with Clipse gearing up to drop their track with Nas, the message is crystal clear. It won't just be a diss, it'll be a funeral track. Industry ties are getting tighter, power is shifting, and Jim, he's nowhere in the mix. Sure, Jim can keep rapping, he can keep trolling, he can keep pretending it's all just jokes. But while he's clowning for views, meetings are being booked, world tours are being planned, and high-budget visuals are being shot, and none of it includes him. So the real question isn't will Jim clap back? It's will anyone even care if he does? He wanted to go viral. Now he's just vanishing. And if he's not careful, he might have just canceled himself right out of hip-hop history. So drop a comment, like this video, share it with someone who loves drama, and don't forget to subscribe. Because the next video, it's even messier than this one. See you over there.